Hello, everybody. Thank you guys for joining. See some names in here. Good to see you. We'll get started here in the next couple minutes. So, for now, we'll kind of just let the air breathe for a moment, get people, make sure they get their lobby set up, the audio hooked up. But we will be back in just a moment to get the show on the road. So, just a few more minutes. All right, we'll give them like another minute or so. I see more people are joining in. Thank you guys, both internal people and uh, people who are building out there in the world. So we'll get started here, like I said, in just a few more minutes. Kind of give people a chance to trickle in, make sure their audio gets set up, all of that lovely stuff. So give it a minute or two. Awesome. So we're getting some new people in here. It's 12:02, so still relatively early. If you do have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and Q&A. We'll get some eyes on them. But I'm probably going to start here. I'll say maybe at now it's 12:03, probably 12:05 on the dot. So maybe in another 90 seconds or so, I'll kind of get started and talk about some things. But for now, like I said, if you do have some type of question, we can start putting some eyes on them, or maybe start building here, or at least you'll get first priority because we do not have any pre-submitted questions as far as my last check, which was about 12 minutes ago. So if you did submit a question in the last like 5 minutes through registration link or something along those lines, emailing trainingdecisions.com. Um, you know, I didn't look at them if you submitted in the last 5 minutes or so. So, all right. All right. So I'm going to kind of get started talking and then I know it's 12:04, but I'll probably start showing some stuff off at 12:05. But just for my full picture for everybody, I know we do this almost every day, so you've probably heard this spiel before, but I just want to make sure in case you're watching it later or you haven't heard the spiel. Just on the top right, we have the YouTube channel where we post all these videos and we make content. So I've made content based on questions we've gotten from Lunch and Learn. We have common themes with Lunch and Learn, something along the lines of how do I get file directory or CSS information or stuff like that. We'll make videos, put them on YouTube. So on the top right, the decision support channel. On the bottom right, we have the solutions marketplace, which is partially built out applications and partially built out modules, workflows, rules, forms, reports, you name it. There are partially built out ones that you can download and kind of look at the infrastructure that created those things. Um, but yeah, you're more than welcome to look at those. Another thing, just worthwhile is we always host events. I know you probably have seen all these before. There hasn't been one added in the last 24 hours, so it's the same ones from yesterday. But I just will cover it really quick. We do these Submerse classes. So Submerse, we have two tiers. We have the beginners and a more advanced tier. But these are free classes. You just got to get yourself there and host yourself. But like here, Virginia Beach, this is the place that I work from. Uh, Big reveal. But so yeah, we have them in our like actual headquarters here in the US. If you are in a different part of the world, we have them in Singapore, we have them in Colorado. We've done them in Australia. We just had one in Stockholm, Sweden a couple weeks ago. But we've done a number of them across the globe and across the United States, various time zones. So those are great options if you are like want to, talk to other people that are building and developing in decisions, or if you just want to learn and get, the ears and eyes of people that maybe have a more advanced understanding of this stuff. Some of the more advanced builders facilitate some of those classes because, as you guys know, everyone's been in here before. There's a lot of depth, and I don't have the answer to everything, but they definitely have a larger repository of uh, knowledge and experience than I do. We also have webinars. So here on July 31st, the end of the month, we have a webinar on AI rules engines in healthcare. But we are always having webinars, and those also get posted to YouTube as well. So if I go to YouTube, those webinars can be really great. I think those are posted on the main channel, Decisions, at Decisions on YouTube. But yeah, so these are like those webinars. So like after July 31st, we will have one on here called AI Rules, Engines in Healthcare, but all of these are just webinars that we have run across the last couple of months, based on various things. Um, you know, and some of this stuff is older, 3 years, 3 years, 5 years, but we do have stuff that is getting updated all the time. Whereas on our channel, it's mainly lunch and learns and then some miscellaneous content. So like we get a lot of questions about dependencies. Like I made this video myself. Jared, who is one of our great minds on the training team, he made stuff on the difference between the different data structures because this concept can be opaque for a lot of people, just the various differences. And again, mine's not loading, but you can see from that little thumbnail there, we're talking about the different data structures and things like that. Cool. We got something in the chat. This is a helpful reminder. Thank you for sharing. No, thank you. Thank you for being here and interacting with me. But yeah, so we have all that stuff. We have those YouTube channels. And again, we have two separate ones. So we have one that's just decisions. If you type in decisions automation, you can find decisions. And if you type in decision support, which is what I kind of work with loosely, I'm on the training team, but it's kind of a part of the support community. We have these. Another thing that can be helpful that most people might not know about that you certainly may not. But if you have questions, we have a forum as well where we keep these updated. And if you have a specific question, you can look at this forum with, however many 3.6 thousand posts. And we have people submitting questions and we have answers. So if you were like, hey, I need to figure out this JSON array payload without a wrapper, you can maybe get some intel there, as well as I go through every day. And under categories, if you go down to the bottom, lunch and learn questions, I post the lunch and learns from every day with the timestamps of, so like yesterday, which was the 16th, we did, no, the 16th would have been 2 days ago. So apologies. I guess I did not fully post it yesterday. But 2 days ago, when I hosted it, I talked about these questions in these orders, and you can click these and it'll take you right to the video, right to the section. So it's just a nice another additional repository of information. If you just Google search decision support forum or decisions forum, I'm sure you can get to it from the website as well. I just wouldn't know exactly where it is. Oh, or in the resources forum. And if you have a question like, hey, I'm trying to figure out a very specific thing, you might have had somebody already ask that question and they try and do a good job with screenshots, and stuff like that to help give you an answer. Maybe even attaching a small project that says, hey, here's how you do it. So another great resource for you. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, Q&A, something along those lines, and I will start working that way. But if we don't have anything in that direction, I'll just kind of start doing some just, talking, maybe some learning opportunities, stuff that I've been messing with. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's a different channel. Chat. Cool, 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 cool. So let's see here. What is new? Because when I did it 2 days ago, I talked about all of this stuff. So I already kind of talked about file directory information. We talked about dependencies. We talked about some stuff in that realm. Let's see. I know where we can kind of mess around with. So I'm in version 9 right now. If you're on version 8, You're not going to have some of this functionality, but just considering that's the world that I've been kind of making material in. Um, an important thing to understand if you do migrate to version 9 is that we kind of have these sealed packets now of projects rather than having a total ecosystem. So in version 8, we had kind of a decisions environment that looked like this. So in version 8, we had decisions that existed in totality, and indecisions, that's supposed to be a D, decisions. Uh, you get it. Decisions. We would have project A, project B, project C. We'd have system settings, and all of these things could talk to each other in any various number of iterations. This could talk to this could talk to that, this could talk to this could talk to that, stuff along those lines. Whereas in version 9, it more or less exists like this, but removing that bubble where A is its own kind of sealed unit, B is its kind of own sealed project unit, C is kind of its own sealed project unit, and your system settings themselves are also its kind of own sealed unit. And there's a lot of stuff that you might think, oh, well, in version 8, I had made an integration, and now I'm not seeing that integration in my project. And that is because it's kind of its own sealed unit. So you'd either have to declare that as a dependency or within integrations within your project itself. In your project itself, you can add that REST integration or API OAuth to show up a little smoother and cleaner for you. Because again, if you add it over here in integrations, it's not necessarily going to be seen by your project unless you declare that there. So it's just another paradigm shift I think is worthwhile talking about, is that a lot of the stuff that is done in system level, you'll have to maybe adjust on your project level as well. Whether it be uh, security groups permissions, whether it be jobs and events. So a scheduled job, if you have a scheduled job within a flow, you want to adjust that in the project rather than in the system settings. Although those events do still show up. So if I go to scheduled jobs here, I can run a new scheduled flow, but I do not believe, right? See how there's no flows. Obviously, I have a huge project, or I have a number of projects. Why are these not showing up? Because we don't have access to those things as it currently iterates right now. So just be aware that if you have flows within a project that you want to run as a scheduled job, you'd want to run that scheduled job as a project. And I think that's, the paradigm for that logic is moving forward, we want these to be much more sealed packets between environments as well as importing and exporting. Whereas if you had this huge spaghetti monster of dependencies and this project depends on that and this depends on that, when you go to import a singular element, you have to do so much troubleshooting. So I think the underlying concept is that we want to work our way towards, if we have project A and we export project A or we move it between a different environment, we check it into a new environment, it just works rather than it looking for all of these dependencies and stuff, not working. We want things to work. So eventually, again, we're working towards, as an organization, having these projects be standalone units that are functional and are um, easy to import and export on their own standalone. Again, you still can do dependencies. You still can. It's in your project under your info tab, top right dependencies, and you can manage some of these dependencies. But just keep in mind, again, maybe you don't know, but circular dependencies are a thing of the past. So if you have common themes that you want to utilize, I might recommend making a project that has all of your common elements and then having all of the projects depend on that in one singular direction. Because like with this project Creighton, if I go to Creighton and I manage and I make duplicative file directory, I have access to this information now. However, if I go back to duplicative file directory and I try and add that Creighton to this project as it depends on this, it doesn't exist. So you can't go two directions. It's only one directional. So that's why you might want to make a third project in which everything depends on that one project. And then that one project depends on nothing else. So that it has a common repository, which I guess is not the CS right word, a common uh, storage for your commonly used elements and flows. That is another worthwhile of 9. Um, Again, kind of just spitballing here. And if anyone wants to teach me something, that'd be cool too. Let's see what's new in version 9. in the realm of version 9 here. I know Will, who's on this side, has been working diligently to get some of this stuff updated. We are coming out with a process mining course. We've been working on it quite a bit. It's fairly robust. It should be done here in the next week or so. So if you're interested in process mining and you want to do some training, we will have that like within a week or so. It is fairly robust, and it talks about how process mining works in decisions with example projects, but it would be accessed through that LMS where you receive training materials. We do have lots of stuff in that kind of world. It's through learn.decisions.com. And if you don't already have credentials, someone on our training team can make that happen. But we do have lots and lots of training materials that we've been kind of pumping out. Some of the stuff, again, is going to be kind of internal only, stuff that maybe not apply to you, but we do have lots and lots and lots of courses. Let's see how many, if it gives us a list here. 170 courses. And again, some of these are small sections like days, but we do have stuff on all kinds of stuff, databases, SQL, and again, some of the stuff is maybe not it's more internal stuff like team training. It doesn't apply to you guys, but just be aware that we do have lots and lots and lots of training options for you. And again, not performance testing, but the process mining should be done here within a week or so. That is new in our world for process mining. So that is something worth speaking about. Yeah, I don't know. I think most of the people in the lobby here are regulars, and y'all know that y'all probably have a better understanding of some of the stuff than I do. So again, if you wanted to tell me about something to explore that's cool or interesting, it'd be cool. And if not, I'll probably just do a couple more little bounces around, and we will call it an early day because here's some updates. Let's look. So under projects, converting legacy projects. This is all version 9 stuff, but that's kind of the world I've been living in. So, um, yeah, project conversion. You're going to have two paths to convert projects. You can either move folder to a project or you can convert a legacy project. However, keep in mind that when you create a new project, when you convert a legacy project to a new project, you're not going to be able to change the naming convention, and that name is immutable. So if you wanted to change the name of your project folder, you'd want to use the move to project function rather than the convert legacy project. You can use the validation screen. So again, in version 9, we have this overarching validation issues report in which you can go through and say, hey, what are my problems within my project? And when you import or you convert a legacy project over, it'll give you more insights on the total success of your import/migration from version 8 to version 9. So that's something new in the world. We did launch 8.2.1 today, I believe, or sorry, 8.21, which does have some features that we have had as feature requests. So when people submit feature requests, sometimes those kind of live in limbo, but sometimes they actually get pulled all the way through. So one that I know that we've gotten from Lunch and Learn quite a bit that is a new in 8.2.1 is, let's see if I can pull it up here. It's probably under this. Nope, it's under this one. We've gotten this one quite a bit, this question. I'm not going to show you the whole slide deck because I don't think y'all need to see it. But one that we did get that is really useful, I think. Some of these is just like, TIFF file, TIFF file performance updates. So if you use TIFFs and it performs better in decisions, and that's just like a type of image. But one that we got all the time that's new to 8.2.1 is this one. And we did add it. So again, feature requests do go through. Maybe I should probably block some of this out, I guess. But feature requests add a selected row as output data when data grid is in inline edit mode. We have gotten that quite a bit when you're using inline editing or a data grid. How can we just output the data for a singular selected item? And we have that functionality now in 8.2.1. And then a lot of this other stuff is just kind of just functionality stuff, but these are feature requests that did get pushed through. We are constantly adding. to the realm, but flow fixes. We've kind of added quite a bit of stuff on here. Again, a lot of this has some depth that even is above my understanding of what's going on in the world. But that's just good intel to know. Is that we do push out some of those features. Okay, so we talk about that. We talk about this. Again, if anybody's got a question, or if you say, "Hey, I've been doing something," it'd be cool to kind of have some prompt to build through, or if you have something that is interesting, or if you want to give me a challenge, that'd be funny too. You can say, "Hey, build this for me." That'd be an interesting one. Uh, what else is new, man? Or what can I show? Let's go back to 8 and kind of talk about that. Maybe an underutilized one would be a design pattern. Underutilized kind of methodology is these design patterns. So an option for you. Say you're building flows, you're building forms, you're building things, and you're constantly using the same inputs and the same outputs, or some version of that. You're kind of building off of a templatized version. You're building for reports that all are populated the same way, or flows are populated the same way. If you use a design pattern, I can call this Rob's design pattern. It will give me the option to kind of set some default input and output data. We can even do a structure, right? So we can test with Brent's structure here. We say, okay, we know that this Brent's structure is one of our input data, and our output data is also test for Brent output. You will be given the option that when you are building, you can select new, or you can select using a design pattern. So if I save this as a design pattern, and then I go into a flow, do we have one called Brent? I should probably delete some of these. Definitely should delete some of these. Pick or create flow, right? I can, let's see here. Trying to remember. I should be given the option. Oh, right there. So within a flow itself, so I can go into this flow, pick or create flow. Let's just create a new one, even though I could have just done it to the main flow, but why not? We'll kind of just show it in both capacities. I can create a subflow, and I can, for my input data, rather than defining it, I can use a define pattern. So I can use my pattern, and you'll notice now that when I use Brent's pattern, I have access to that information. So let's just show pop-up kind of thing. And here is Brent's information already pre-populated for my flow, so I don't have to do that manually every single time. And again, I'll have to map that data in to the subflow. So in this particular use case, which is just kind of a random arbitrary one, you would still have to go on this and still map in that input, but it does save you quite a bit of time if you have like a really complex thing that has multiple structures, multiple data members, and you don't want to set it up every single time. I can do the same thing for my main flow, use a design pattern. Or let's just change it here. We'll go change this here, use a different pattern. I can use my asset pattern. And again, I have access to that information, as long as I make sure I can get it in some capacity. But that can be useful for you. Design patterns underutilized. Also underutilized, which I think is just fun, is when you have a big flow and you want to keep yourself organized. Obviously, naming steps is great, but you could have one of these flows that just looks like a spaghetti nightmare. Um, Named flow, obviously, just keep ourselves organized. Just another thing that's useful that most people may not realize that can keep you organized is under name flow, you can change your shape settings and colors and things along those lines. You say, hey, I know that moving forward, my red flows, those need work, or something along those lines, whatever organizational system you might need. You could say purple, but you can also just change the image themselves. So has image, and say, okay, I'm going to, why not, man? Let's go crazy here. In my downloads folder, I think I probably have some crazy pictures back in the day. Here's a preview image. What am I previewing? Who shall know? Actually, I think I have one. Let's see if I have a picture of my man here. Nope. Files. But yeah, you can use, let's see if I can just do a JPEG or something. .jpg. Some of these might be too big. Who knows what even some of these files are, but we'll try that. Friday.jpg. Okay. Look, boom. Look, I got a little image in there. Cute and fun, man. I don't know what I was using this for. But then, that could be useful. You could put, if you have an assignment going to someone particular, you can put a picture of their LinkedIn profile picture or something so you know, hey, this job uh, belongs to Garfield or whoever the job belongs to. But those are just, another useful organizational tip. Keep in mind, this can kind of mess with your performance and slow you down a little bit and slow you down in your building if you spend too much time customizing colors and stuff. But it's just, some people don't know. You can get rid of everything being in blue because a sea of blue can be kind of exhausting to look at times. Um, yeah, I don't know. Oh, here's another one that's underutilized. Underutilized. Click things. I want to get this lined up right. Notice how this can be kind of a beast to get perfectly lined up. Just know that you can use your arrow keys, pressing up the arrows and moving things left and right that way. Might help you kind of get things into a perfect line rather than having to get the precision with your right hand. All kinds of stuff. Also, if you have steps and you want to rename them, obviously people know that you can probably go in and change the name right there. But if you just select a step and you just start typing, it'll go in there. So that's a quick time saver in terms of organization as well as just renaming steps by just clicking them one time and start typing, and it will by default, again, change the name of that step so that you can keep yourself more organized. But I guess we don't need those things right now. Cool. Um, what else, man? I think it's about 28 minutes of miscellaneous content. We talked about some version 8, version 9 stuff. We talked about some resources that you might have available. We talked about adjusting flows and customization, and we talked about design patterns. So we did hammer out quite a bit of content here. And let's see, we started 5 minutes late in 23 minutes. So I guess that is all I have for you. Unless someone has a prompt, I will gladly build out for the next remaining amount of time. But if everyone is happy, I'm happy too. So I will probably call it here unless we get a question or some type of prompt in the chat in just a moment. But thank you guys for joining. We'll end up catching you next week. We'll have a similar kind of hosting roster. So me, Jared, Jeremy, and I. We want to be technically correct. We'll be in there. So we'll go ahead and end it for now. Thank you guys very much for joining. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to trainingdecisions.com or supportdecisions.com, and we will find the resources for you. But for now, good day. Thank you guys for joining.